All right, let's do this. So you should see, and I always kind of look at this first, just to like make sure I don't make a stupid mistake. You should notice in this one that it's decaying, and all the other ones we were growing. So remember, if you're decaying, your B value should be a fraction. It should not be a whole number. So obviously we can see that we are no longer by 0, 1 whatsoever. We can also see that we have a horizontal asymptote here at -5. Because of that, I know we moved down 5, which means I will have a -5 at the end of my equation. So I know I need to move back up 5 then to get where I started, since it moved down 5. The other thing I can see is that I moved over 1, 2, 3 from the y-axis. So my initial starting value moved left 3. So I moved left 3, which in my equation will be represented by x plus 3 in the exponent. So just some things to keep in mind. Okay, so let's move our points back. So we initially were over 1, 2, 3, and we have to move back up 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will be here. And this one, I also have to move back right 3 and up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be right here. Okay, so let's write what these coordinates are. So this coordinate here is at 0, 2. This coordinate here is at -2, +8. Okay. So let me write these over here. We have 0, 2, and -2, 8 are 2 coordinates. So this is where this graph was initially, before it was shifted left 3 and down 5. So we need to base our A value, our initial value, and our growth factor on our B value on this. So you will see that our y-intercept, our initial value, is at 2. So we definitely have y equals 2 times. Now here's where we have to be careful. We technically started here at 8 and we're down to 2 if you look at the y coordinate. So we're up here at 8 and we're down to 2. So it's like, say, 2 years ago, Klondike had 8 dog bones, and currently in this present year, she only has 2. So she has a fourth of what she started with, right? So our growth factor is not 4. It looks like it got 4 times bigger, but we're starting over here in the negatives, and it actually is a fourth. It's getting smaller. It's a fourth of what it was. So my B is actually 1/4. And again, if you think about it ahead of time to have growth or decay, it'll help with that part right there, knowing is it a whole number or a fraction. That one has to be a fraction. Okay, now as far as the exponent goes, we know we moved left 3, but we haven't checked to see if we have a horizontal stretch yet. And if you see here, remember you have a horizontal stretch if it jumps from 0 to a different number. So if it doesn't go from 0 to 1 and it goes 0 to 3, that means I stretched by 3. Or even 0 to -4, that means I stretched by 4. This jumps from 0 to -2, which also means then that we have a horizontal stretch of 2. So we're going to have to account for that. So let's put our exponent in there then. So I said I was moving left 3, so I have to have x plus 3. And because I'm doing a horizontal stretch of 2, it's getting wider by 2. That's like multiplying by 1/2 or dividing by 2, however you want to write it. Again, you could put a 1/2 out front or do divide by 2 like I just did. I just like it better like that. And then since I moved down 5, remember that's a -5 at the very end. So this entire thing is your equation. And so if I recap for you real quick, 2 is my y-intercept. That was that initial value. B is because I'm a fourth in size. Klondike has a fourth less of her dog bones than she started with 2 years ago. right? She had 8, now it's 2. So my growth factor is a 4th. I moved left 3. I figured that out because of this right here, left 3. That's where my x plus 3 comes in. We discovered that we had a horizontal stretch of 2 because our x coordinate jumped from 0 to -2 instead of 0 to 1. And then we also saw that we shifted down 5 because we have a horizontal asymptote at 5, or -5, I should say. So that's why I knew it was -5. So that is your equation to number 5. All right, last one. And this is honestly probably my least favorite one, and I'm not really sure why. I don't like, it's a reflection. So this would, you should notice it's not decay because it's not like, woo, swooping down. And it looks like it's growth per se, but it's definitely been reflected over the x-axis. So let's take a look. You should see right away that you have a horizontal asymptote at +3. So right away we know we moved up 3, which means on our equation we should have a +3 at the end. So let's look at what else happened. So again, normally you would start here at 0, 1. That's where every exponential function starts. But you can see that it got shifted left 1. So we did a shift left 1. That's something else we did. We moved left 1. So we know in our exponent we should have an x plus 3 to accommodate for that. So we have to shift all these 2 points back to where they belong. We need to move both of them right 1 and down 3 to put them back where they were. So I'm going to go right 1 and down 3. Right 1, down 1, 2, 3. And that's like sometimes the tricky part. You're like, well, I just wrote I went left and up. But no, it's opposite because you need to show if I went up 1, 2, 3 and left 1, it would put me there. Do the same thing here. Go right 1, down 3, 1, 2, 3. Put your little dot. All right, what are our coordinates? So we have a coordinate here at 0, -2. And we have a coordinate here of, what is that? -3, -6. Okay. I'm going to write these over here. So we have 0, -2, and -3, -6. All right. So if we look at our x coordinates, you should see we jump from 0 to -3. That tells us right there that we have a horizontal stretch of 3. Again, if it doesn't go, like our first 3 examples, I believe it was 0, and then our other coordinate was at 1. But this is stretching us all the way to 3. So remember, we will show that in our exponent by either doing 1/3 times x or x over 3, however you like to write it in the exponent. Okay, so we're going to have to do that in the exponent part. What else? We need to figure out our, that is not it. Did I do that wrong? Yeah, I was supposed to move down. Am I looking at the wrong thing? -3, -6. Oh, yeah, I was. Okay, we're good. Sorry. So we have a point at -3, -6, and 0, -2. We said we're stretching by 1/3. So let's see what I have so far in my equation. We have y equals, I have my starting value, my y-intercept, that's what goes first, so -2. Remember, I get that from this point right here. I don't have my growth factor yet, so my b value. It's kind of like last time. Notice we're actually going from -6 to -2. That is actually, we're going to have a decay because we had a decay here that got flipped over, and that's why it looks like this. If you would have had a growth, it would be like turned the other way. So you're going to have to do -2 divided by -6, which means our b value is actually 1/3. So from 6 to 2, essentially, it's 1/3 of what it was. So think -6 times 1/3 gives me -2. Okay, so got 1/3. It's different by 1/3. Again, -6 times 1/3 is -2. Okay, so that's my b value. We said in our exponent, we want to show that we moved, why did I write x plus 3 here? Maybe that's what messed me up before. My bad. We wanted to show that we moved left 1. So we said we were going to show that by writing x plus 1 in the exponent. Then I need to show in the exponent, and I wrote that here, that we have a horizontal stretch of 3. So we take that exponent, and again, we can write it 2 ways. We could have written 1/3 out front. I knew that was going to happen. I just knew it. We can write 1/3 out front and write our exponent like that. Or you can choose to say, I'm dividing my exponent by 3. It doesn't matter. It gives you this, it's like the exact same thing. I don't know why I like the divide by 3 better. And so that just accounted for my horizontal stretch. And the last thing I have to account for is I moved up 3, which we said that means we have to do a plus 3 at the end. These are probably like as hard as it's going to get for us when we have, you know, the shifting left and up and a horizontal stretch. Honestly, I don't think I have seen any that will give you with a horizontal shrink, so you don't have to worry about that. And I think that's really it. So remember, it's kind of like a recap. Your initial value is your y-intercept. Your b value, that second number there, is how different did your y coordinates get? Did it get bigger or smaller? If it's getting smaller, you're going to have a fraction, and that's fine. I mean, I went from a -6 to a -2, so I'd have to multiply by 1/3. We get this shifting at the very beginning. We have to figure out how we're going to shift our graph back over to basically that 0.01. Get it back to the y-intercept, and yeah, that's it. Try your best. We will definitely review this again Monday. Monday I will teach you something different. It's another graphing, the last type of graphing. Then we will review everything again on Tuesday, and we will test Wednesday. Feel free to email me or text me in the meantime with questions, but like I said, we'll start class Monday with this.